Hey guys, it's Dragon Rockstar here. I'm calling with a should Shaddoll Invoke Spice deck profile. It's 60 card Shaddoll Invoke Spice, if you want to put it in that perspective. It runs pretty well, it's pretty smooth, and it's very consistent. The reason why it's 60 cards because I wanted to test out a few engines for the new Master Roll 5. It's very consistent as a deck, and I really love this deck based on how it functions correctly and how it plays. There's a couple cards that obviously, I'm testing just to see how well they're running, and same with a couple of Shaddoll new cards and things of that nature. The Master 5 ban list came out as well. I'm very glad for that, and it's very surprising of what they hit and what they didn't hit. A few cards I question about, but the rest is self-explanatory. But enough about that, let's just go ahead and get to the profile, right? So for the main deck, even though it's 60 cards, and I know I haven't been doing a lot of 60 cards lately, I've been doing like 50, 45, things of that nature, but this deck really runs very well for some reason at 60. But let's go ahead and get started. Also, the reason why I wasn't able to upload videos for the past couple of weeks is because of the virus outbreak that's been going on, as well as the my job and things of that nature, how I'm going to be able to handle things from there and other things of that nature. Plus, I've been working a lot more than I usually am, and I haven't been able to get out there with videos and things of that nature. So, anyways, let's just go ahead and get started. Enough about that. For the Alistair Invoker, obviously the Invoke engine, you play 3 Alistair, that's self-explanatory. He's very self-explanatory. He's consistent as it is. He basically gets you an invocation once you normal summon it, so it's very self-explanatory. There's nothing else to him. For the Shaddolls, I still play the triple Squamana. Squamana self-explanatory. Squamana helps you. It's basically another thing of Windy. These are basically the same thing no matter what. This basically gets you. This is basically any other Shadow monster in the deck, as well as this is basically your main combo piece you always really want to go for. But this will send this, and you just basically still go off in the same combo. So I love Squamana and I love Windy. These are the only 2 Shadow monsters I will ever play 3 of, and probably will ever keep at 3. So yeah. 2 Beast. I figure Beast. The reason why I play 2 Beasts is because I do play Battle Desires in the deck. So I do sometimes want that second Beast just in case consistency issues and things of that nature, the draws and things of that nature. So it's very handy for that. Double Hedgehog. Hedgehog's basically the one thing in the deck that you mainly want to get some of your Shaddoll monsters from your deck to your hand, obviously, but I did use this effect multiple times on YGO Pro and other websites that I've been testing this deck on, where Hedgehog's flip effect is come in handy. I use Windy sometimes to help me get Hedgehog from my deck face down, and then I'll use the trap to flip this up so I can get me another strong spell card. So that's come in handy multiple times. I do play Double Aerial. Now, the reason why I play Double Aerial is because I love its banishing effect. It's very broken as a that. And another thing is, since I do play Pot of Desires in the deck, banishing this 2 of them at once is very suckish. But banishing 1, like when I was playing one of this card, I was playing Pot of Desires back then as well. Banishing it off of Desires sucks. Because this is mainly one of your combo pieces. The trap in Construct is basically combo. In my personal opinion, a lot of people would say otherwise, but I think Ariel is very, very consistent for that build. Like Ariel is very important for the combo. I play 2s because I usually want to see that combo. So if I play Pot of Desires and I banish 1, okay, I know I have a second one in the deck, so that basically helps me out. And now for the one-offs. There's been points where I do want to play 2 of this guy, but I haven't thought of putting 2, which is Dragon, and then I also wanted to play 2 Shaddoll Hounds. A lot of people are saying that Shaddoll Hound's the worst one in the deck, or the worst Shaddoll card to play. Actually, the Light Attribute Shaddoll monster is the worst card to play. I think Hound is more consistent in my personal opinion because it acts like the trap card. It basically allows you to switch your construct or switch any guy that's face down or face, anywhere on the field that's in a different. You could switch any monster on the field. So, for instance, I can target my. For instance, I could target my Warlord Savage, or I could target my Elshon Winda, or my Construct, or I could target one of my opponent's monsters and switch them in a different position. I think Hound is more of a monster where I can just mess with my opponent's field as well as mess with my own field. I can switch Construct from defense mode off the trap card into attack mode. I think that would be really nifty on some points. Dragon's also there. I wish I could play 2 Dragons, but I couldn't find the room. Dragon's another way to get rid of back row. In my personal opinion, I only like running 1 dragon because I never really want to see it. Its compulse effect is really amazing, but in my personal opinion, I don't think I ever need 1. So, yeah. You got the 1 Falco and then the 1 light attribute Shaddoll monster. The reason I'm playing 1 of every Shaddoll card, or at least more than 1, is because I like all their effects, in my personal opinion. Some of them I like at 1. Another thing is I don't like his effect completely, but I do like its discarding effect to increase my monster's attack points. That's the only effect I really like the most. The other effect is not really as useful, and then Shaddoll Falco is good at some points. Targeting your fusions in the graveyard and bringing them back is very awesome, so I really like that as that. For the Lightworns, I do play Lightworns. That's the spicy engine of the deck. So for my spice is Lightworn. So I play triple Raiden and triple Wolf. Now the reason why I put these guys in here is because I do like Lightworns a lot, and Lightworns in certain ways can become very consistent for certain decks. Now, obviously, this is not really considered as a Lightworn deck, so pretty much because I only play a total of 6 Lightworns. The reason why I play in here is because light attribute monsters, because sometimes my opponent will get rid of the only, sometimes stop my Shaddoll fusion, things of that nature, and I need a light monster in my hand so I can fuse away, just in case my opponent stops my Shaddoll fusion, Shaddoll fusion, super poly, any of those type of targets. I need something where I can summon and fuse with. Wolf, I know it's a brick in the deck, but it's also another good monster to send to the graveyard, so you can go with your link plays or your fusion plays. My personal opinion, I think the Lightworn engine also helps you get Shaddoll monsters to the graveyard, but mainly Raiden, because Raiden's effect is not a cost. You mill the top 2 off of Raiden, you get those Shaddoll monsters, even though you gain the attack points, you still get those Shaddoll monsters effects. So I like Raiden because I can mill a Windy and a Hedgehog or something like that, and get both of their effects as well as that's it. Like I can get both of my monsters' effects. I know Charge Light Brigade is a cost, and that's a self-explanatory thing. I understand that Charge Light Brigade is a cost, but I do want to try to combine both Lightworns and Shaddolls and Invoke and try to do another combo piece, because I remember back then a lot of you guys love those type of videos and comment like crazy and things of that nature, so I'm grateful for you guys for doing that. But I feel that in this variant, I think I can switch it up and play only a small amount of Lightworns. Also, he's another normal summon just in case you don't get Alistair, so you could just start out by normal summoning Raiden and then mill 2 and stuff like that. So, yeah. My personal opinion, I think this engine works very well with this deck. For the clowns, obviously I play the double damage juggler, the 1 hat trigger, and the 1 trick clown. Hat trigger's in here for link plays as well as combo plays. Trick clown's in here because of combo plays and link plays, and damage jugglers because I can send it off with constructs. So they're all self-explanatory. There's nothing else to it. I do play another little spice card. I do play 1 cap shell. There's points where I want to play multiple cap shells. It's good on your normal summon as well. You could just waste your normal summon. Say that you already went through a lot of your plays and you already have your board and you just want to summon something. And this is the only card in your hand and you can't fusion away with it, but you can link away with it. You could just normal summon this and get that free draw and probably draw to a combo piece. Those of you that probably don't know what it does, when it's done by any means necessary, synchro, fusion, link, I believe, let's see. If it's detached from an X or Z monster, if it's synchro, fusion, or linked, or if it's tributed, you just basically get a free draw. So by any means necessary, if it's by any of those ways, you get a free draw, and that's pretty cool in my eyes. Using this for Shaddoll fusion, and you have this guy in your hand, and you fuse with like a Shaddoll monster and this guy, and you get basically multiple effects and multiple combos, and I just love this guy because of that. I only play one. I'm trying to find a room to play multiples as one. I might take out a couple Raidens maybe or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but for now I think one's fine. Then for the last monster of the whole deck, I play triple Nibiru. I think a lot of decks these days are going to start comboing off a lot more, and in Master Rule 5, and so I believe Nibiru is another way to get around those decks. Spirals are completely dead, so there's not many ways for a lot of decks to get around Nibiru once it's played. So for Spirals, they have ways to get around Nibiru, so that's why I always kind of like want to main deck it, but side deck it the most. So yeah, Nibiru is self-explanatory because we're about to get into a heavy, spicy meta. For the spell cards, I do play triple Shaddoll fusion, triple Shaddoll fusion, and then I do play triple invocation. Now, there's been times where I actually want to cut out invocation, but since I play Pot of Desires, I do tend to banish at least 2 or 1 of invocations and always have one in the graveyard. So, in my personal opinion, I think invocation, I'm going to only play 3 for right now until I figure out another way to make it where I don't need invocation at all. But these are all by far the best fusion spell cards in the game. Besides Pommization as well. Yeah, Pommization's really good too, but these are so far by the best fusion spell cards in the game. If a lot of different things they had on the ban list, if they didn't rerouted some fusion spell cards, such as like Fusion and stuff like that, I might actually be testing that out. If they didn't reroute that, but now since it's been reworded or rerouted, however you guys pronounce that, I am not able to use it, so that sucks. But I was thinking of using Future Fusion in the deck as well, but due to its rerouted, it's not really as powerful as I expected. That'd be another fusion spell card I'll be testing out just to see how well it works for you guys. But other than that, these are by far the best Shaddoll, or the best fusion spell cards in the game, in my personal opinion. Especially Shaddoll one, or Shaddoll fusion is really broken. For the rest of the deck, I do play a couple other cards. Obviously, you gotta play the Magical Meltdown. This is self-explanatory because you gotta search out Alistair, and you gotta. It's another way to protect your fusion spell cards as well. When you're fusion away, this basically is another way to save your fusion monsters when they're summoned. But when you activate their effects, they can chain to that, stuff like that. There's rulings on Magical Meltdown that I do not understand, and I'm still working on trying to figure that else out. If you guys want to let me know down in the comments below what's some restrictions on Magical Meltdown, that'd be very awesome for me. Other than that, it's been a while since I've actually been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a bit, so yeah. But in my personal opinion, I think Magical Meltdown works perfectly as it is. That's it. Then I do play, obviously, the 2 Super Polymizations. I do not like 3. There's been times where you draw a hand where you have no monsters that you can summon, and you end up drawing like a couple spell cards, and it basically ruins your hand. So I think Super Poly, in my personal opinion, at 3 is kind of like inconsistent, because once you if you have 2 Super Polys in your hands, it's basically one of the Super Polys is a dead card, because you got to figure out a way to use that Super Poly during the same turn that you drew both of them. So I think by cutting in Super Poly by 1, it's very helpful. Plus, this is very good in grind game, in my personal opinion, so I love Super Poly at 2. Then here comes another spice. I do play Magicalized Fusion. This is very powerful in my personal opinion. There's a fusion monster that I play in my extra deck that's actually abuses this card from World Power, and I will show that in my extra deck only. I will not mention his name because it's a very spicy card. But what it is like you gotta banish you banish 5 spellcasters in your graveyard to even summon the monster. With different names. So this basically helps you get to that point by banishing those monsters. You're not really fusing away. You're basically banishing, but it still considers it as a fusion summon. So I realize that this card can be very broken, and a lot of people don't really understand or see it. Obviously, you've got to play the Triple Charge Light Brigade. Triple Charge Light Brigade, self-explanatory. Basically, help you get for your Light Swords to basically get cards to the graveyard. You mainly want to try to get Trick Clown, Damage Juggler, or Wolf to search out, and then get those to the graveyard so you can get right in and then go off of combo. So yeah, self-explanatory. For the draw power of the deck, I do play double Allure and double Desires. I don't think Allure is really good at 3, in my personal opinion, because sometimes you'll draw Allure and you don't draw a monster, and then sometimes you have to ditch your whole hand. That kind of hurts, so I figured I'll play only 2. And then Power Desires is the same self-explanatory, because I don't want to draw the 3rd copy of Power Desires, because sometimes that's actually happened a lot more to me than anyone else that I know. So I figured 2 Power Desires, plus you don't want to really banish a lot of your there's a couple one-ups, but mainly you don't want to banish a lot of your doubles. So I don't think Power Desire is very good at 3. But other than that, these are really good combo pieces, and I love the draw power and the consistency they give. So yeah. Then obviously I play the one Foolish Burial because it helps me get whatever I need to the graveyard as fast as possible. So I'll send like either lights, I can send Damage Juggler, Trick Clown, Wolf, I could send some Shaddoll monsters if I need it. So it's basically another thing to it basically is another Shaddoll card in the deck, in my personal opinion. And then I do play triple of the Trap. Now I do not play Core. Core, under my personal opinion, is very. I'm trying to test it out, and there's points where I'm trying to figure out ways to use Core. But anyways, I think this trap right here is one of the best. This and L-Shell Fusion's basic combo, no matter what. This is basically a way to help you recycle Winda, or Wendy, or whatever you can pronounce it, when they get rid of it. So I figured I will play 3 of this. This is a way to help you out. So say if you summon your L-Shell, say you summon L-Shell Window with L-Shell Fusion. They found a way to get rid of it. Use the trap card, bring back L-Shell Window, and they look at you funny. And then sometimes it might be games, sometimes they'll look at you like, dang, I'll set, pass, or something like that. So I think this is a very powerful trap card and very underestimated in this format, and I hope a lot of people start to see that this trap card is very, very important for the combos. For the extra deck is a little different from most. I play it in a different way. I did try to figure out ways where I could run triple Construct, triple Winda, triple Aqualone, and things of that nature, but I just couldn't figure out ways. Shaddolls as themselves are consistent, but sometimes can have brick hands, and sometimes can have very, very... Sorry about that. They sometimes can have very hard times to get certain people in certain formats and certain decks. So, based on how I have it, it's basically the perfect ratio for this variant of the deck. So I play double Construct, because the trap card right here is basically Construct, Apocalone, and Winda. So no matter what, this is basically those cards right away. So, yeah. So I play double Construct. Construct is very consistent, as I say, and it's basically the trap card counts as this guy, so I'm basically playing 5 of them, in my personal opinion. Double Winda, same thing. I think Winda is perfect at 2. I don't think you need more than 2, because sometimes if you try to summon it during your turn, you kind of screwed it up, and your opponent didn't get rid of it. So pretty much you kind of screwed up your following up turn. So you got to find a way to get rid of Winda. But other than that, I think 2 Winda and 2 Construct is self-explanatory, very consistent, as well as the 1 Apocalone. I think Apocalone is underestimated, and I think I want to play more than 1 Apocalone, but there's points where I think 1 Apocalone in certain situations is fine. I've tried talking to a few people and see if Apocalone itself can negate Mystic Mine due to the fact of how Mystic Mine is worded. And once Apocalone is summoned, can it negate Mystic Mine, in my personal opinion? And I'm just working on trying to figure out from a lot of people. Those of you that are probably curious and do know the answer, please let me know down in the comments below. That'd be very awesome and very helpful. But I think this is the perfect Shaddoll ratio, and I don't think it needs to be changed. For the Invoke engine, I do play the 1 Invoke Purgatrio and the 1 Invoke Mechaba. Now these 2 are perfect in this deck. I don't even think you really need more than 1 Mechaba, even though I have a lot of light targets in my deck that I can use to summon out Mechaba. I don't think you need more than 1 Mechaba, in my personal opinion. So, and then Purgatrio is self-explanatory. Purgatrio is basically that Boar Sword of the deck, and I do not play Boar Sword in my extra deck due to the effect of how many cards it can fit in the extra deck. Obviously is 15. If Konami was to boost up the extra deck, that would be very awesome to help out a lot of other low budget decks come up. That'd be awesome too. But I think these decks, I think these two are perfect at both at 1, and I don't think I need to boost them up more than that. Now, here comes somebody that says because of Magicalized Fusion, I play Quintet Magician, if I pronounced that right. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Quintet Magician is basically a spellcaster monster that requires 5 different spellcaster type monsters to summon it. And when it's summoned, it basically does something that is very surprising to most people. You can destroy all cards your opponent controls. This face-up card on the field cannot be tributed nor used as a fusion material. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So basically, your opponent cannot kaiju it, raw spearmo it, can't do anything to it. It can't be destroyed by card effects, which is a very big deal in this type of format, and it can't be used as a fusion material. So Super Poly is basically dead against this card. Now, the reason why I play it because it destroys all cards your opponent controls, I believe, right? Yeah. So, for instance, if you're just needing a way to get rid of every card in your opponent's side of the field, then yeah, you could fusion summon for this. Say if you have a Magical Meltdown, and then you use to summon this guy, and you fusion summon for him, his effect will go off. Magical Meltdown protects him because of his summon. His effect destroys all cards your opponent controls, so your opponent cannot chain to him. And also, he can't be Kaiju'd or Raw Spear Mode, so those are 2 very important cards to do. And he basically cannot be used as a fusion material, so he is dark. So if my opponent tries to use Super Poly against him, I'm basically going to say, you got to choose somebody else, you can't choose him. And if they say, no, I can choose him, no, cannot be used as a fusion material. This guy basically defeats the purpose of Super Poly, in my personal opinion. And you can't Super Poly with him. So that sucks, but in my personal opinion, it's one of the best fusion monsters I've ever seen, and I've been testing it out in this deck. There's times where I want to try triple magicalized fusion, but sometimes you don't always get 5 spellcaster monsters in your graveyard, so this is very good against like macro heavy decks or any other decks like that. This is a way to get rid of those cards, get rid of those fields and stuff like that, in my personal opinion. So I love this card and I pretty much probably wouldn't even cut it out. I think this card runs perfectly in Shaddolls, because all Shaddoll monsters are pretty much spellcasters, except the new Shaddoll monsters. But other than that, as well as the fusions too, that's just the surprising factor. So I could banish a few fusion monsters in my graveyard and go off of more combos because of that. So, for instance, like I know Construct is a fairy, so I can't use that. But Cologne and Winda, I can banish those from my graveyard, which can actually be more useful in the graveyard too, by my personal perspective, and banish them from my graveyard, special summoning him, use the trap card, special summon both, if depending on the game, special summon either Window or Avclone. Avclone will get its effect to target a card on the field and negates its effects permanently, or I can summon Winda and have that fusion on the on my side of the board as well as Winda, and basically says you can't do anything right now. I got a 45 B stick, I got a 22 B stick. This basically says you cannot special summon. So what are you gonna do? Or I'll have a 25 B stick and a 45 B stick that basically you can't really do much against. And I already got rid of all cards you control and send everything yours in the graveyard. So in my personal opinion, I think both that fusion right there is very powerful in this deck, and I think I pretty much probably won't even cut it out. Enough about that. Let's just go for the rest of the extra deck. I do play the one Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is self-explanatory. Abyss Dweller is basically another monster. Basically, in my personal opinion, is another good rank 4. Going against in Master Rule 5, this card will be very, very broken, very, very powerful against a lot of decks. I know for a fact that people are trying to test out Burning Abyss. That'll be a really good thing to go against. Light Torrents are starting to get a little hype that I didn't expect. And things of that nature, as well as Shaddolls. Shaddolls can still play around Abyss Dweller, but in my personal opinion, I think Abyss Dweller is like Abyss Dweller helps you depending on certain matchups, and I feel Abyss Dweller is good at 1. Would I play more than 1 Abyss Dweller? Hell no. But other than that, I think Abyss Dweller is good against a lot of decks and coming up in Master Rule 5. So yeah. Obviously, I do play the Boiler Savage. I mentioned it. I do play Light Sworns in the deck, so that's why I can be able to summon this guy. I also do play a couple other tuners in the deck because of how they're worded and how their effects are. But other than that, if I was to put a different tuner monster in the deck, I think it'd probably be like Jet Synchron or some other things of that nature because they can help me get cards from my hand to the graveyard by discarding to get their effects. So I like the fact that I can now insert some cards like that. It's sad that Global and Shaddoll are both gone. I didn't feel that they really did need those hits, my personal opinion, even though Crystal Needle Fiber, and or however you pronounce his name now, uh, he's out now, and it's self-explanatory why they got hit, but in my personal opinion, I don't think they needed to be hit. But enough about that. Boiler Savage, in my personal opinion, is another good monster I can summon, so I can end up on a board with Winda, Savage, and I believe somebody else in my extra deck, and literally my opponent looks at me funny because I have multiple ways to get around your stuff. So yeah. So in my personal opinion, I think Savage is good at one. For the links, I still play links no matter what. Even though we're a Master Rule 5, sometimes there's a lot of powerful links you can run. I still play the Amirage due to the fact I want to use Alistair the Invoker. Summon Alistair the Invoker, link away with it for Amirage, and then obviously I can link away with Amirage just to get another link monster on the board. I know you don't have to always follow about the link arrows, which is self-explanatory in my personal opinion. I understand that. I think Amirage is good at one, and it's another way to get Alistair to the graveyard, as well as if you try to get this to the graveyard, this is another way you can you'll have a fire in the grave. So it's basically the combo. For Link 2s, I do play Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep is self-explanatory. Cross Sheep is basically the combo piece you really need in the deck. I still play the Alistair Invoker of Madness. This guy is self-explanatory. I like its effect because I can get Invocation from my deck to my hand as fast as possible when I Fusion Summon. It doesn't even matter if you're Fusion Summoning, if your opponent Fusion Summons, you still get his effect. So it's another way you can get Invocation from your deck to your hand. So I love the fact that its effect is true and what it is. Then I do play the IP Masquerena. I love the IP Masquerena. I pretty much will never cut this out from any of my decks due to the fact that IP Masquerena is another card to help me get into, like, Nightmare Unicorn or Nightmare Phoenix or things of that nature for any of my other decks. And it's very consistent for this deck, actually, because once you summon the Nightmare monster, which is by all means Nightmare Unicorn, which is the last card of my extra deck. IP Masquerena can link away, summon out Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn discards. I'll discard probably like a Shaddoll card or something. So I'll basically get a two for. I get to get rid of something that you have, as well as get my Shaddoll monster in my card effect, no matter what. So, in my personal opinion, I think IP Masquerena is another disruption for your opponent. So I think I like how I'm playing this deck and this variant. So like I said, this deck is very consistent and stuff like that. I do have the side deck, which I will be getting to that in just a second here. I will not explain as much as about the side deck because a lot of the cards that I play in my side deck is self-explanatory. So for instance, like Dark Whirler No More is self-explanatory. You are coming to a Master Rule 5 format, and a lot of people are going to be playing off their combos, so I think Dark Whirler No More is perfect that way. I do play Double Twin Twister and Double Cosmic Cyclone. So these are very handy against Mystic Mind decks or Mystic Burn decks or some things like that in nature. You're more likely going to see those in these formats. You're always going to come around that time where you're going to need that. Plus, you're going to be going probably against Subterriers and other decks like that. Ultigeist, Subterriers, things of that nature. So basically stall decks. These two are very powerful against those certain decks. So I would recommend playing at least 2 or 3 of each card. In my personal opinion, I think these are self-explanatory at 2 each. They're also good against Mirror Match, so you can banish the trap card before it activates during your standby phase. But yeah, I do play the 1 Artifact Scythe and triple Artifact Sanctums. Now, the reason why I play this engine is because in this format it's going to be really, really extra deck heavy, in my personal opinion. So I play these because there's ways to get around those extra deck. Once you play this, you basically get around that. Plus, I do have a lot of cards in my main deck where you can side deck it out. And like the Light Torn engine, you can always side deck a crap load of those Wolves and Raidens just for your side deck cards. or you could take out an Imperial. You know, there's so many cards in the deck that you can switch out for these side deck material cards. But I think RFX Sanctum as well as Scythe is very powerful, as well as Scythe is a light target, so it can basically help you out with Construct combo. So, yeah. Then obviously I still play the triple Evilly Match. Evilly Match is a blowout card, basically a way to get rid of your opponent's board. And it's a way for you to clear your opponent's board so you can go off with your combos, in my personal opinion. So I think that's just self-explanatory. Gets like back row heavy decks is very powerful. And then I do play the one Ecclesium, the Invoked Ecclesium as the side deck card because sometimes Abyss Dweller or Boiler Savage might not even be useful for mirror match and things of that nature. So I'll switch out those for Alistair and Invoker and sorry. I will switch it out for like Ecclesium, maybe switch out Boiler Savage and things of that nature. So I think this guy is very perfect for me to side deck them more than main deck and extra deck. So like, I figured it would be a good way to use. My personal opinion, I think this deck is really consistent. I love how it combos off in the correct ways. I love the fact of what cards I would pretty much end up, what cards are consistent in my personal ideas and things of that nature. I really do like this deck based on how they play and everything like that. In my personal opinion, I won't really switch out as many cards as like I said. I think the deck's very consistent. Anyways, I will be trying to upload at least 2 videos for this week due to the fact I missed them for the past 2 weeks, and I'm sorry for that, guys. Like I said, a lot of things have been going on. I am not able to do a lot of things that I am capable of doing right now due to the fact of this virus outbreak and the certain things that my family's going through and a few things that my friends are going through. So there's things that's going on from those perspectives. But I will be trying to upload a video every week, if I can. It might take me time. It might not always be on Wednesday, which is where I'm guaranteed of trying to upload a video is every Wednesday. I will also be trying to get my hands on Dual Overload. I haven't got my hands on them yet. I'm working on trying to order me some for right now, but my job, I have to wait for my paycheck when it comes in. Other than that, I will be getting to the point where I will be trying to get Dual Overload and open it on this channel, because I know a lot of you guys are really excited and really want to see that, so I'll be trying to get those for you guys. I will also be trying to upload my Lightsworn deck profile as well as a few other decks that I currently play. I am working on a competitive Fluffle deck. I still have that deck, and I would love to show you guys how competitive this deck can be and whether or not it can compete in the meta and things of that nature. And many other decks that I'm working on. I got a crap load of decks that I'm trying to finish and get prepared for Master Duel 5, so I hope you guys are really excited, and I hope you guys are really happy to see those decks. And let me know down in the comments below what decks you guys want to see. I am working on another deck. Back in the day, I did upload a super heavy deck profile. I'm still working on that deck too, because I want to try to make it as competitive as possible and consistent as possible. Even though Seconds Light is gone, there's still ways to make the deck very broken. So I hope you guys are ready for that. And like always, I hope you guys really do enjoy this deck profile. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys are really excited for Master Duel 5. And if you guys really want to see me open a couple boxes of Dual Overload. So, like always, Dragon Rockstar is signing out. Hope you guys enjoy this deck profile. Peace.